I am Jason Abraham, the Shadow Teacher 33. And there are those that are bold and curious of spirit, that dive in headlong in exploring the ancient mystic arts, the occult wisdom of the ages. And then there's the normies. And the normies don't even want to touch something. They don't want to give any credibility to a practice, to an idea that has yielded a consistent result, mind you, over ages. The normies don't want to give any credibility to such a practice unless it's somehow validated by science. Now, once again, what we'll find is with a practice like an ancient practice of energy, of wisdom, of, you could say, a law that's prevalent in our life, prevalent in the life process, that the finite human perception has not come to terms in explaining yet. You can say at some point maybe science is able to explain some aspects of how these transcendent modes of being, modes of practice work. A few examples would be like Qigong or acupuncture, the ancient healing system in India of Ayurveda. These systems, again, that work for healing over ages. Other side of that would be martial Qigong, gathering energy for vitality, to be able to express, some would say, almost superhuman force. More common example is what people think of as like the law of attraction, or this idea of co-resonance, of what one feels and vibrates with tends to be what is reflected back, what one attracts. But once again, the normies need the science. And what I say is, when you have something that, again, you can see like a relatively consistent result for the enlightened practitioner, but you're still hung up on, well, I need science to tell me how this works. I need science to explain all the ins and outs of it. And I believe that limits one's experience of these transcendent practices. I believe this idea to control, this idea of the ego, of the false self, to want to control the practice to such a point that you can explain all the ins and outs of it, limits, I should say, one from the full experience, as opposed to simply going about the practice and doing the thing, being present with it, and allowing the secrets and the mysteries to express through the practitioner. And, we're in this day where information is available to the masses, and I think that's a good thing. I think that's opened up the bandwidth possibilities of humanity. It's leveled humanity up. But on the other side, we have the information overload. And the way the secret societies worked is when they initiated someone, there was a path of initiation and a process and initiation rites. And if one was able to prove themselves worthy, then a master would share their wisdom with the practitioner, and you would step into the process of practice. So there's a level of character that had to be developed before the secrets were revealed. And this is still true, as what you'll find with many of these ancient wisdom arts that I'm speaking of. You can't simply watch a YouTube video and see how they work. The YouTube video can give you an idea of it, but you really have to have a quality practice, which usually requires meeting a competent practitioner in person. And again, I'm referring to, like Qigong, for instance, would be a great example. You can get the idea of it from a YouTube video, but it's not really until you meet someone who's doing it and living it that you start to learn the practice. So I'm going to make this video pretty quick. The point of this, again, is when you are engaging in the practices that start to reveal the great mysteries of life to you through your being, that go beyond this limited 5 sense perception, simply allowing that to happen opens up greater possibility. Whereas if one is stuck in needing scientific rationalization, which is dependent on 5 sense perception, then one is limited. At the same time, for one who's revealing, where one is in that practice, eventually you will get aspects of that practice at some point. Science will catch up and be able to explain different elements, but there's always more. There's always more. And for those brave souls that I referred to at the beginning of the video that dive headlong in ancient practices of truth and wisdom, you already know that. You already know that. And some of our practice is just observing when the ego wants to get in the way and control that which cannot be controlled and must unfold in its own process. I'm going to end this transmission. Be strong, be well, and I will see you on